business with Tony. Business with Tony.
Hi guys, I'm here, and this is my channel Infinology, where we do gaming and technology related stuff. Everything to it. Like facts, and maybe a few reviews, or stuff you didn't know about something, I don't know. But, yeah, so for the first video, I gathered the 10 most bizarre facts that you probably didn't know. Keep watching to find out. Motion controllers for the GameCube. Now we all love the Wii's motion controllers. It was a big reason why the Wii was so successful. But did you know that the motion controllers were planned for the GameCube? There was also a prototype made and a few games that ran it, especially Rogue Squadron. But they didn't go through with it, because it was clunky, it had wires, the technology just wasn't ready. But then they decided to make an add-on to go through with that because, well, add-ons are really successful. Like Sega's 32X. So they decided to make a new console. But that is why the Wii runs GameCube games so easily. It's just a beefed up GameCube. Sony and Sega collaboration? Now you guys know by now that Sony and Nintendo had a deal, and Sony was supposed to make a CD add-on for the SNES. But Nintendo went with Philips at the last moment, Sony got really mad, it was a huge fiasco. But did you know that Sony went to Sega after that collaboration? But Sega dismissed Sony, saying that they didn't know anything about making video games, and they saw no benefit of doing business with Sony. Not a good move, Sega. Not a good move. Halo and Apple exclusive? Oh, we all love Halo, and we associated with Xbox. It was a huge reason why the Xbox was so successful. But did you know that Halo was originally an Apple exclusive? About a decade ago, Bungie was in some serious financial trouble. And at the 1999 Macworld Expo, Steve Jobs introduced the world to Halo Combat Evolved as a third-person shooter. But a year later, Microsoft bought Bungie, and they got Halo on the Xbox. And as you can imagine, Steve Jobs was pretty pissed. But you can't imagine a world where Halo was an Apple exclusive, or where Max could game. Atari Jaguar dental equipment? Now when you think of successful video game consoles, you really don't think of the Atari Jaguar. The Atari Jaguar was Atari's smashing return in the video game industry. Skip the Panther console for... Also, it came with this controller. And you guessed it failed. I mean, look at it. What the hell is that? But you might find a console in a dentist's office. Apparently, the molds used to create the bodies are really expensive. So Atari sold those molds to a dental equipment company called Imagine Systems. And they even used the cartridge slots as memory expansion ports. PS3's backwards compatibility? Now many of you may own a PS3. It was moderately successful. And I say moderately because it was a disaster when it launched. It was overpriced and the internet was filled with PS3 names. But back to the point. It cost about $600 to buy one. But that was actually cheap because it cost $800 to make one. And that was mostly because of the fact that the PS3 had a full PS2 inside of it. Now if you didn't know, the PS3 had this really weird cell processor with really foreign architecture. It was impossible to emulate PS2 games. So that's why Sony put a full PS2 inside of it. If you open a fat PS3 with 4 USB ports, you'll actually find the PS2's Emotion engine inside of it. But they removed that feature in subsequent revisions to cut costs. If you ever wondered why Sony removed the PlayStation 2 backwards compatibility, that is why. Although you are not forgiven, Sony. PS1 backwards compatibility? Now you're probably really mad that they removed the PS2 backwards compatibility from the PS3. But here's something interesting. All PS3s can play PS1 games. And I'm not talking about like going on the PSN store and downloading them. No, I'm talking about like physical CDs. You can actually find a PS1 CD, put it in your PS3, and play the game. All PS3s. Fat, slim, super slim, all of them. And that's really bizarre because not a lot of people know that. Not even me. Until now. I just said that. So, I know. First Xbox prototype? Now back when the PlayStation 1 was released and the PlayStation 2 was about to be released, Microsoft was really concerned about the fact that consoles were taking away PC gamers. So Microsoft wanted to enter the console market. But did you know that a few people at Microsoft created the first Xbox prototype by disassembling and reassembling a few Dell laptops? Xbox naming? Have you ever wondered why the Xbox is called the Xbox? Well, if you didn't know, it's shortened from DirectXbox to Xbox. But did you know that the people at Microsoft hated that name? The board actually made them change it. But they took a marketing survey and people loved the name Xbox, so they stuck with it. Xbox High Definition? Now the PS2 is the world's best-selling console of all time. But if you didn't know, out of all the consoles of the 6th generation, the Xbox was the most powerful one. It was so powerful that it could actually display resolutions up to 1080i. While only a handful of games ran at 1080i, about 40 games ran at 720p. Now the PS2 used some upscaling techniques to bring it up to 720p, kind of like the PS4 Pro. It wasn't true high definition, and certainly no match for the original Xbox. Cartridge is a bad idea? Now back when the first video game console, the Magnavox Odyssey, was being developed, George Kent arranged 2 separate surveys to find out what people thought about the console. Amazingly, a large number of people did not like the idea of cartridges. They said that kids would often lose or break the cartridges. But they stuck with the idea, and thank God for that, because we're still using cartridges with the Nintendo 3DS, and also the Nintendo Switch. Well, thank you guys for watching. If you guys want more videos like this, be sure to subscribe. Like it if you like it, dislike it if you disliked it. Leave a comment if I got something wrong. If you want to watch gameplay videos, be sure to check out my cousin's gaming channel over here. And I'll see you guys in the next video.